So today I'll be sharing with you my views on metacognitive strategies for effective writing. So before I begin, I like to differentiate between cognition and metacognition with the help of this pictorial representation. So here we have this girl who is, or the learner who is involved in the process of mental processes that is required to complete the task. And whereas metacognition implies that we are planning our mental processes or organizing our mental processes in order to complete the task. That is, we are thinking about our thinking. So let me now take you to the structure of my presentation. So today I'll be familiarizing you with the concept of metacognition. Then I will implement the concept of metacognition in writing paragraphs in two ways. First, I will talk about coherence, that is organizing ideas on the overall paragraph level, and then cohesion, organizing ideas at the sentence level. And I will also be introducing 4 metacognitive strategies. So now let me take you to the concept of cognition. So according to dictionary definition, cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. And this, from this definition, we understand that cognition involves the mental processes that is required to acquire information and also understand or comprehend that information. Now, this from this definition, we can understand that there are many processes involved by which we can acquire information. Let us understand the different processes. The first process is the process of perception, whereby the learner uses his sense organs in order to acquire information or learn by using the sense organs. And then this information is utilized by the learners in order to interact with people in the world. Then the second process is the process of recognizing or the process of observation. And this observation is done when the learners, they get the stimulus from the environment that they observe. Then comes the process of conceptualizing, whereby the learners are able to associate the pictures and the objects that they have acquired in order to relate it to other concepts. Then the process of learning, whereby the learner is able to learn new things and then synthesize this information and integrate this information with the prior knowledge. Then comes the process of reasoning, whereby the learner is able to use the thought processes in order to acquire the problem-solving skills or the logical sequencing of ideas and the systematically arranging ideas. And this reasoning skill process is also called as a scientific process because we tend to go very systematically when we are organizing ideas. Then comes the next process, that is a problem solving process, whereby the learner is able to identify a problem and also solve the problem. Then comes the most important process in the cognition, that is memory. Memory is the process whereby the learner, they are able to encode the information, store the information, and recall the information at a later point of time. This is considered as the most important process in cognition, and since we can use this process in order to use it, in newer situations or in other situations in the future. Then comes the process of language, whereby the learners uses information in order to convey the message to the receiver. That is, expression of clarity is necessary while explaining the information to the receiver, and the receiver also understand the information and responds to the learner or the sender with clarity. So have understood the process of cognition. Let us now go to the process of metacognition. So according to the dictionary definition, metacognition, the root word is derived from meta, which means further on or on top of. Now it means that metacognition is a higher order skill, that is, it is on top of cognition, and therefore this skill requires to be taught to the learners. The learners will not be able to acquire the skill on their own. Of course, there are some people who acquire the skills over the years of experience, but then it is not an easy skill that can be acquired on their own. So therefore, I suggest that the curriculum designers should implement this concept of metacognition in the curriculum, so that right from the childhood, the child is trained, or the child is made to focus on the concept of using the metacognitive skills or the metacognitive strategies. Now let us understand what are the processes involved in metacognition. So here I will be talking about the first process, that is metacognitive knowledge. The metacognitive knowledge is the knowledge about the cognitive process. That is, this knowledge helps us to identify the different approaches that is required for problem solving, or the different strategies that could be used for solving different tasks. So this knowledge can help us to select the particular strategy for a task that is assigned by the teacher. Now, this selection of the strategy would of course depend upon one's knowledge of one's strengths and weaknesses. Now, the strengths and weaknesses would imply that what am I good at? If we question ourselves, we should be able to identify the aspect that we are good at, the skill that we already know, and of course the weaknesses also. That means the skill we need to develop. So once we have identified this, then it becomes easier for us to select the strategy that could be applicable in that particular situation. Now, having understood metacognitive knowledge, now it is time to understand metacognitive regulation. Now, metacognitive regulation is the implementation of metacognitive knowledge. That is, once we are aware of the strategies, we need to plan the strategies. Now, the planning will occur only when we are able to identify the purpose of the task. The purpose, the task requirements or the task objectives are very essential before we start planning how to select the strategy. So the requirement of the task will help us to select the strategy, and once this strategy is selected, we need to monitor the strategy also in order to find out whether the particular strategy chosen is helping us to complete the task or to reach towards the objective of the task. So as we are monitoring, if we could find that the strategy is not helping us, if the strategy is not helping us, we can either replace the strategy or we can select another strategy to complement the existing one. So having monitored the strategy and completing the task, we now have to evaluate the end product. Evaluate, or in other words, we have to assess our end product. Now the question arises, why as learners we need to assess the end product? The teachers are obviously there to assess the end product. So what is the role of the learners over here? So the role of the learners is that when the learners do the self-assessment themselves, then it saves, there is a lot of misunderstandings that could occur between the teacher and the student could be resolved, number one. Secondly, the learners, they can actually go for self-learning, they can develop their self-learning, and they can become independent learners. So when we're evaluating, we can ask ourselves these questions like, have I incorporated all the steps while writing or while achieving the goals of the task or the objective of the task? And then have I missed out any particular step? Do I need to incorporate the step? And then have I written the sentences correctly, the grammatically correct sentences have I written? Have I used the punctuation marks correctly? Do I need to modify my sentences? Have I included one idea in one sentence, or have I included multiple ideas? If I have included multiple ideas, is it clear to the readers? Can the readers understand? All these questions need to be asked when we are evaluating our end product. And this will definitely lead us for better understanding and for acquisition of information. So having understood the concept of metacognition, let us now, let me explain to you the metacognition with the help of an example. So here we have this learner who is given the task of reading a chapter in the textbook. So he has to read the chapter, comprehend the chapter, and also answer the questions that follow. So what he will do, he'll use his metacognitive knowledge in order to identify the strategies that he's aware of. So once he has identified the strategies, now he will find out his strength and weaknesses. So his strength is he has a fair amount of information about a particular topic in the chapter, and that he is also interested in that particular topic. So his prior knowledge and interest in the particular topic becomes his strength, whereas his weakness is that he's not very sure whether the information that he already has about the topic, whether it will help help him to complete the task, efficiently. That is not sure. But then his strength and weaknesses will help him to select a strategy that will definitely change his reading speed, or he can alter his reading speed accordingly. Having understood what is metacognition, now let us apply the concept of metacognition while writing an essay. So for this, I will take you to the topic that I've selected today for the essay, that is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now for this particular topic, I need to find out what are the strategies that I'm aware of. So the first strategy that I'm aware of is writing down ideas. So when I'm writing down ideas, then of course it becomes easier for me to proceed. So that is the first strategy that I'm aware of. The second is I can immediately start with writing the first draft. The third is I can organize ideas systematically at the first draft itself. And then the fourth strategy is collecting information. So even before I write down the points, I go to the website and collect the information from the other sources. And then of course, even before collecting information and taking the efforts to write, I can directly check for a sample paragraph so that I can find out, or a sample essay so that I can find out what could be the structure of the essay. So now I have to identify my strengths in order to select the appropriate strategy. My strength is that I have a fair amount of knowledge about the benefits of an apple. I can relate those benefits to the saying that apple a day can keep the doctor away. My weakness is that I'm not an experienced writer. I'm a novice writer. So as a novice writer, I need to go through the steps systematically rather than move directly to a particular step because I'm not very confident about it. So therefore, I will, depending upon my prior information that I have about the benefits of an apple, I will select the strategy of writing down ideas first. So the prior information will help me to select the strategy of writing down ideas first, and I will not go to the strategy of collecting information right now because I want to see whether my prior information can help me to complete the task efficiently. So therefore, with that strategy, I will go ahead. So here I have written down the points based on my prior knowledge. And so these are the points that I have written. And as you can see, I have written points like, the apple is a healthy fruit. It keeps us happy when we eat healthy fruit. It contains essential vitamins, and there are minerals, that is contained in the apple. Then apple has antioxidants, and then, it prevents us from many diseases and so on. It is good for the eyes and so on. So this ideas that I have noted it down, it is not organized, it is haphazard. So now I have to use my metacognitive skill or my metacognitive strategy of arranging my ideas systematically, and this I will do. So this is strategy number one that I will implement. So in strategy number one, I organize the ideas systematically. That is, I will use the mind mapping, or I will use the graphic organizer to systematically arrange my ideas. So here I have written the first point, that apple is a healthy fruit, and it obviously gives us vitamins and minerals, and it also contains antioxidant, and it also contains fiber, and then it can prevent us from diseases like heart attack and cataract, and it can boost our immune system as well as regulate our digestive system and keep our system healthy internally. Then I move on to the next point, that is, apple is not the only fruit. There are other fruits also which are essential, or they contain the vitamins and minerals required for a healthy life. So I need to gather more information and to prove myself that why only apple, why we should eat only apple. Then the third point is that it is said that an apple a day keeps a doctor away, because nowadays people prefer to eat unhealthy food. So therefore they're more, they are more inclined towards junk food and ready-made food, and that is why they are not eating the healthy food that is so necessary for our body to build up our immune system. So that is why it is said that we should direct the people, towards healthy food, and thus the saying goes that an apple a day can keep the doctor away. So I have arranged my ideas systematically using the mind map technique. Now there are different graphic organizers that can be used in order to arrange your ideas systematically. Let me give you an example of this graphic organizers. So first graphic organizer is the Venn diagram. In this Venn diagram, we can compare or show the differences between two objects or two particular concepts. We can show the difference in terms of showing the similarities and the differences that occur in the particular concepts. And then we have the tree diagram. In the tree diagram, we can talk about the family tree. We can talk about the different members in a family, or we can talk about a particular object and try to find out, what ways, it can be used and so on. And then we can use this mind map in order to explain to the students about a particular story, writing the events that occur in the story, so that the children, they understand it very clearly, and it becomes very easy for the teacher also to explain the events in the story. Then comes the another tree diagram, where we can talk about the main topic, and we can talk about the different subtopics related to the main topic, and we can give an explanation of the subtopics. Then comes the next tree diagram. Suppose if you are sequencing information, then we can use this tree this mind map technique in order to sequence the information. Then we have another mind mapping technique, that is when we are using trying to differentiate between two objects or two concepts, we can use the T chart, the mind map, where we can differentiate in the two objects or two concepts. Then we can talk about the cause and effect mind map. For example, if you're talking about high tides, we can talk about the cause of high tides, and we can talk about the effects of high tides. Then comes the radial tree diagram, where we can talk about the main topic, write down the main topic at the center, and the branches, from the main topic, there will be different branches that will talk about the different types of the main topic, or the different characteristic features of the main topic. And so, having shown you all the graphic organizers, now I want you to do an activity on this particular passage that I've written. Actually, I wanted you to do a writing activity, but since it will take some more time, therefore I have already given information related to this particular topic. And based on this information, I want you to tell me which particular mind map will you be using for this activity. So I give you 5 minutes for this activity. Okay, thank you participants for your active participation. You did a wonderful job related to the activity. Yes, I agree with you that the tree diagram can be used for this particular paragraph, but we can also use the radial diagram, to organize our ideas. So this is the way I have done it. So as you can see, this is how I have done it. So you can obviously try and come up with new ideas, or you can come up with your own radial diagram, create your own radial diagram, and as you understand the main ideas in the paragraph. So having said this, now let us move on to the structure of our essay. So here I'll be talking about, once I've written the main points, now I'll be talking about the first structure of my essay that I'll be trying to show you right here. So I'll be connecting the thesis statement to the topic sentences. So my thesis statement is that an apple a day can keep a doctor away, or apple is an essential food that needs to be consumed daily. So that is my thesis statement, and I need to expand on my thesis statement, and I will expand with the help of the subtopics, that is topic sentence 1, where I will be talking about that it is a healthy fruit as it contains vitamins and minerals, and then I'll be talking about explaining the topic to them, and then I'll be talking about topic sentence 2, where I'll be saying that it also contains an antioxidant called antioxidant that is helps us to prevent from various diseases, and it is very important in the as it contains in apple and not in other fruits. Then I'll be talking about that it is essential for everybody to consume an apple because and we are all the time more inclined towards junk food, and so therefore, just to move away from the concept of the junk food, we have to focus on the a healthy food, that is the apple. So then topic sentence 3, I will give examples related to this. So this is how I have framed the structure of my essay, and now I can write the first draft depending on the structure. So here I go to the first draft. So here I've written the first draft in this manner. It is rightly said, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We should eat an apple each day to stay healthy and happy. Apples are fortified with essential vitamins and minerals, and they are an excellent source of fiber. It contains powerful antioxidants, which helps combat from radical damage, boost our immune system, and prevent different kinds of diseases. Apples keep our eyes healthy due to their high antioxidant content and may help prevent cataracts. It is an excellent source of fiber that helps regulate the digestive system and keeps our overall intestinal system healthy. However, apple is not the only fruit that is healthy. There are other fruits like pear, mango, banana that are rich in vitamins. It is equally important for us to consume these fruits. The question that arises in our mind is, are apples the only fruit that is healthy? The answer is, people nowadays are inclined towards ready-made and junk food, which is unhealthy for our body and weakens our immune system. The aim is therefore to direct people towards eating apple, as it is a healthy snack between meals. So here I've written down the ideas in the rough draft. And after writing down the ideas, this is not the end because there's a lot of modification required. So I need to find out, question myself, what is the purpose of my task? Is my purpose only to write the essay, or do I have a much more broader purpose? So when I think about, start questioning, I understand that the purpose of my task is not only to complete the task, but also to persuade the readers, to convince the readers to consume an apple daily. Or direct the readers towards healthy food. So having understood that purpose, I need to find out whether I've included all the information that can persuade or convince the readers. Now I find that I have used the word powerful antioxidants, but then I have not specifically mentioned which type of antioxidants I am talking about, or which type of antioxidants is present in apple, or is that we can find in apples, and that is why we can consider apple as a healthy fruit. So therefore, this self-questioning is the second strategy that needs to be implemented, or the learners need to be trained in self-questioning, because it will help the learners and understand that they have to acquire information, or they have to use another strategy, like the strategy of collecting information from various sources in order to enhance their writing, in order to enhance their skill of writing an essay. So I am using the second strategy now, that is collecting information from the different sources. So my source could be from books, or it could be from the website. So today I'll be talking about sources from the website, because I have collected this information from the website. So this self-questioning technique can encourage the learners to think more deeply, and it helps the learners improve as they are more focused, and attention is directed towards interacting with the presented information. So having understood the strategy of self-questioning, the metacognitive strategy, now we move on to the evidences that I have collected from the website. So first is antioxidants. Now I need to know which antioxidant is present in apples. So here I have this antioxidants that is called as phytochemicals, and this phytochemicals is present in plant food, and it naturally occurs in plant food and gives the color and aroma of to the particular fruit, and it cures chronic diseases including cancer. Then we have another antioxidant that is present in apples, that is called as a flavonoids. This is a type of antioxidant which apples are a rich source of flavonoids, and in fact, research has proved that people in US and Europe consume apples in the diet for the regular intake of flavonoids, and flavonoid content is higher in the peel of the apple. Then we have another element which is very important in apples, that is D-galacturonic malonic acid, which is also called as a sugar acid, an oxidized form of D-galactose. And this acid, it provides 10% of daily fiber requirements to our body. And as we can understand that the intake of fiber can help us in improving our digestive system, and it also we can help to overcome constipation. So having collected these evidences, now I can use these evidences in order to incorporate it in my second draft, and also I can use these evidences to persuade the readers to towards the consumption of an apple. So here I'll be before I write the second draft, I need to modify the structure of my essay, or I need to be more systematic now about my structure of my essay. So here I'll be talking about the introductory paragraph first. In the introductory paragraph, I will talk about the general statement, then I will talk about the specific statement, and then I will talk about the thesis statement. And in the body of the paragraph, I will talk about topic statement 1, explanation, give the explanation and also support it with the help of an example. Topic statement 2, give the explanation and also support it with the help of an example. Then topic statement 3, give explanation and also support it with the help of an example. Then comes the concluding paragraph where I will restate the thesis statement and then summarize the essay and also generalize the concept of that apple a day should keep the doctor away. So here, let us start writing the points related to the essay based on this structure. So the general statement is there is a growing need to keep oneself healthy, remaining healthy by eating an apple daily or following a regular diet. That is a specific statement. The thesis statement is eating an apple daily is more essential than following a regular diet because of first, second, and third reason. That is topic statement 1, 2, and 3. So here I have the first topic statement. Firstly, apple contains vitamins, minerals, antioxidants like flavonoids that protect us from many diseases. Secondly, flavonoid content is higher in comparison to other fruits. Lastly, eating an apple is a healthy snack between meals. Now, let me go to the concluding paragraph that I restate the thesis statement again. Hence, eating an apple daily can keep the doctor away because of first, second, and third reasons. And then adults and children will benefit by eating an apple that is a healthy food. So having modified my basic structure of an essay, now I can go on writing the second draft of the essay. So here I have written the second draft, and as you can see, I have modified my second draft to a large extent. There is a growing need to keep oneself healthy. We can remain healthy by eating an apple daily and by following a regular diet. Studies have shown that eating an apple is more essential than following a regular diet. Apples are fortified with essential vitamins and minerals, and they are an excellent source of fiber. No doubt, apples do not contain as much vitamin C as some other fruits like guava and oranges, but they have other antioxidants known as phytochemicals. Phytochemicals is a type of antioxidant present in plant food and helps in curing chronic diseases like cancer. There is another type of antioxidant present in apples. It is known as flavonoids. Studies have shown that people in US and Europe include apples in the diet as a means of consuming flavonoids. They help in reducing cholesterol, thus resulting in healthy heart. It is proved that the peel of an apple contains maximum amount of flavonoids. The largest amount of minerals and vitamins in the apple is present in the skin, and it goes on decreasing as one moves in the flesh towards the center. Nowadays, many people prefer to eat junk food, which is unhealthy. In order to direct people towards healthy food, it is said that an apple a day can keep the doctor away. So here I have included evidences gathered from researching in my second draft, and as you can see, I have modified it to a large extent. Now my outline is ready, but I need to say that this is not the final final essay or the final content that I will be presenting it to the readers. I need to go into the depth of what I have written and try to find out whether I need to modify the sentences or whether I need to add some other word or replace it with another word and so on. So with when I'm talking about the outline of the essay, I'm talking about the coherence in writing. Coherence in writing implies the logical bridge between words, sentences, and paragraphs, and that is what we have learned right now. So this gives clarity of expression, and then you can apply this coherence of paragraph not only to writing an essay, but it is applicable to all small piece of writing. For example, while writing a report, while writing a technical article or a proposal, research proposal, or when you are doing your research also. So here, I'm giving you an example of writing a report. So while writing a report, we start with the introduction, then we go on to the background, then we go on to the thesis statement, and then we start with topic 1 and we give supporting evidence about the topic. We can go to topic 2, topic 3, but I have just mentioned topic 1 over here. Then the last one is conclusion, where we summarize the report. So having understood coherence in writing, now it is essential for us to also help the learners in remembering the structure of the essay. So therefore, we'll be using the next strategy that is essential in remembering or help the learners in remembering the essay or the structure of the essay. It is called as a strategy of mnemonic. Now, mnemonic is a tool that helps us remember certain facts or large amounts of information. They can come in the form of a song, rhyme, acronym, image, phrase, or sentence. Mnemonics help us remember or focus, and are particularly useful when the order of things are important. So here we know that the order of things is important. The order of the structure of the essay is important. So we want the students to enjoy, to have fun, as well as remember the structure of the essay. So here I'll be using the mnemonic of PEEL, and so the P will stand for the points that I need to incorporate in my essay, and then give an explanation of the points, and then also provide evidence of the points, and then link my ideas systematically, or arrange my ideas systematically. So here I can come across with many mnemonics, but I have used this particular mnemonic, and this is very a useful strategy to help the learners remember. So having said about this third strategy, let us now move on to the fourth strategy. Now, the fourth strategy is related to reflection. So I have told you that we have framed the outline of the essay, but now we want to go to and find out, about particular sentences, how I have constructed the sentence, have I used the, words correctly, appropriately. I need to find out that. So for that, reflection is necessary. So by reflection, we understand that, that we look at ourselves, or we observe carefully. So we observe what we have written, with utmost care, and by critically observing what we have written. So reflection can take place anytime in a day-to-day life. We keep reflecting. For example, when we have to leave for a work, we stand in front of the mirror and have a look at ourselves in terms of trying to find out whether we have put on appropriate clothes, whether we have used a hairstyle properly, and so on. And in case any modification is required, we tend to modify that also, we tend to rectify that also. Now this reflection can be taken to the concept of writing, where after finishing the writing or framing the main outline, we need to find out in detail whether we have written the sentences correctly, or whether we have incorporated the use of conjunctions, the punctuation marks, or we have done it correctly. So therefore, this reflection is useful, as it helps the learner in engaging themselves in critical and analytical thought, and it also helps in writers to examine their own writing, and it also helps in exploring the perspectives and the experiences, and also results in self-assessment and self-evaluation. So having understood the fourth strategy of reflection, let us now find out how we can indulge ourselves in reflection. So for this, I will take you to the concept of cohesion in writing. So first of all, let us understand what is cohesion. Cohesion means the grammatical and lexical writing within a text or a sentence. And this grammatical and lexical writing is very important, or lexical linking is very important in order to give meaning to the text. So let us understand with the help of an example. So suppose if I have a sentence like this: apple is one of the best fruits. Now you can see from this sentence that there's a combination of different kinds of words. We have the noun, we have the verb, we have the determiner, the preposition, and so on. So therefore, now what I have to do is find out to which category these words belong to. So for example, if I take is and the, I can say that these words belong to the category of structural words. The structural words are also called as grammatical words, and these words actually they have meaning only when used in the sentence. So suppose if I isolate the structural words from the sentence, they do not make sense. So for example, if I say the, it does not make sense because they have the structural words have no meaning in isolation. They have only meaning when I use it in the sentence. Then comes the next type of word, that is the apple and fruits. Now apple and fruits are called as content words because they have not only meaning in the sentence, also they have meaning when isolated from the sentence. So the content words actually bring meaning even when isolated from the sentence. Now these content words they are helpful because we can use the structural words to connect two or more content words together, and therefore we can say that the structural words actually holds the text together and gives meaning to the text. Now there is another important linking that we should keep in mind, that is the lexical linking. So grammatical linking we have understood, but when you're talking about lexical linking, that is the use of the words, the vocabulary which is associated with each other, that should be selected. So if I've started with apple, I should use another word which is associated with apple or which can be linked to the word apple rather than using something else which cannot be linked to the word at all. So therefore this linking, lexical linking, appropriate lexical linking will help the readers understand the message conveyed by the writer, and this will help in better interaction between the reader and the writer. So having understood cohesion in writing, let me now move on to the different cohesive devices that we need to understand while reflecting on our end product. So first cohesive device is pronouns, then the second cohesive device is repetition, the third cohesive device is anaphoric reference, which we also call it as a cataphoric reference. The opposite of anaphoric reference is cataphoric reference. Then comes the sequencing, and then of course the last one is ellipses. So let me now tell you the detailed information about these cohesive devices with the help of examples. So first we start with the pronouns. Now we all know the use of pronouns, but let me just give you an example so that we are, we can recollect what we already know about. So first is Naveen decided at the beginning of Naveen's first day in college that Naveen would devote 5 hours every day towards his studies. So here we understand that the word noun is repeated, several times. The name of the person is repeated several times. Now we need to find out whether this repetition is necessary. After reading the paragraph, it appears that the repetition is not necessary. It is irrelevant, and in fact it confuses the readers or it demotivates the reader to read further. So therefore we need to rephrase this information in a much better way. So this we can do when we replace the nouns with the help of pronouns. So we have like this: Naveen decided at the beginning of his first day in college that he would devote 5 hours every day towards his studies. So I have replaced the pronoun with in place of the noun. So in fact this is also called as a cohesive device of substitution, and this is a very important cohesive device because then we understand that we are helping the reader in grasping the information that we want to convey rather than distracting them or demotivating them to read further. So the use of pronoun actually avoids the repetition of a noun, and it also reduces the wordiness of the passage. Now, having understood the cohesive device of pronoun, let us move on to the next cohesive device, that is repetition. So a little while ago, I said that the repetition should be avoided while we are writing. So why am I talking about cohesive device of repetition? Now, this cohesive device of repetition is used by writers when they want to draw the attention of the readers towards a particular aspect. So it is important to understand that the writers use the repetition deliberately in order to emphasize a point. Now let us understand with the help of this example. There are couples who dislike one another furiously for several hours at a time. There are couples who dislike one another permanently, and there are couples who never dislike one another. But these last are people who are incapable of disliking anybody. Now this extract is taken from George Bernard Shaw's play Getting Married. Now, as a reader, I have not read this the play, but from this extract, I can definitely interpret as to why George Bernard Shaw is repeating the phrase "there are couples." Now, and George Bernard Shaw maybe wants to draw the attention of the readers towards the fact that we should not be afraid of marriage, or we should not try and avoid marriages. Marriages, we should get married. In fact, we should understand that no couple is happy, or rather no couple is perfect. Every people, when they come together, there definitely differences are bound to occur in terms of their ideas, in terms of their ideologies, and in terms of many other factors also, the way they behave and so on. So these differences are bound to occur. So because of these differences, we should not move away, or we should not have a negative feeling about marriage. In fact, this when we understand that it is inevitable for people to dislike one another because of anger, because of difference of opinion, so we can then try and rectify, or try and see to it that the marriage does not disintegrate, or does not fall apart, or it does not lead to divorces. So this is what George Bernard Shaw wants to convey to his readers, as far as I understand from this particular extract. And that is why George Bernard Shaw is repeating the phrase "there are couples," thereby drawing the attention of the readers towards this particular repetition. So here, as I said, the writer uses the repetition in order to emphasize the main idea in writing, and it also enhances the reader's understanding. So after using the cohesive device of repetition, let us understand the cohesive device of anaphoric reference. Now, the anaphoric reference refers to the use of pronouns and the use of the definite article in order to refer to something that has already been said earlier. So let us understand with the help of an example. Surely, one of the first major natural phenomena to be understood was the cause of night and day. Some of the earliest surviving human records left on clay tablets relate to the movements of the sun and other celestial bodies. The obvious cause of day and night is the rising and setting of the sun. This is an observation that can be made today by anyone and seemingly requires no further explanation. So here we can see that we have used this word "this" over here in order to refer to information that I have already said earlier. Now, this information is related to the rising and setting of the sun. So instead of repeating this information, I have used this over here. Now, when I'm using this kind of reference to what has already been said earlier, that means I am trying to actually enhance the memory of the readers. And this skill that I'm enhancing of the readers actually helps the readers to remain focused in the process of reading as well. So I can say that anaphoric reference is a tool that enhances memory, and it uses the definite article "the" when we are using anaphoric reference. Now let us understand the opposite of anaphoric reference, that is cataphoric reference. So cataphoric reference, we use the pronoun in order to refer to to a person or to some other object, to what we will be talking in the latter part of the sentence or in the future. So let us understand with the help of an example. So here I have the sentence: if you call him, tell Sam to come home as soon as possible. The word pronoun, the word pronoun "him" is used in order to refer to Sam, whom we introduced in the second part of the sentence or in the latter part of the sentence. Then we have another sentence over here: when he arrived, John noticed that the door was open. written. Again, the pronoun he is used in order to refer to John, whom we introduced in the latter part of the sentence. So therefore, this type of cataphoric reference can help actually enhance the predicting skills of the reader, and it also can keep the reader focused in the process of reading. So I can say that the cataphoric reference, which is opposite of anaphoric reference, improves the predicting skills of the reader. So now let us move on to the next cohesive device, that is sequencing. Sequencing is listing of information in a systematic order, or logically sequencing our ideas or listing our ideas. That is called a sequencing. So here let us take this example. I have arranged these ideas listed the ideas systematically. Select one of the following delivery options. Define the importance of a message. Confirm delivery of a message. Change the delivery priority of a mail message. Prevent copying or forwarding of a mail message. Spell check the message. Prevent receipt of out of office messages from others. Add a mood stamp to a mail message. So I have arranged my ideas systematically using the bullet form. I can also use other ways of listing the information. For example, I can use first, second, or I can use firstly, secondly, and I can also number the points, and I can use the bullet points as I've done it over here. So this listing of information leads to better understanding, and it can also give clarity of information. So having understood this device of sequencing, now let us move on to the next cohesive device, that is ellipses. Now ellipses is actually the omission of a particular a phrase or a particular sentence in the paragraph, okay, or in a particular sentence. Now this omission is necessary because the writer wants to draw the reader's attention to a particular information and not to the entire information. So let us understand with the help of an example. After school, I went to a house which was a few blocks away and then came home. Suppose if I use the cohesive device of ellipses, I can rewrite this sentence in this manner. After school, I went to a house, ... and then came home. Now, this ellipsis is used over here in order to help the readers focus on this particular information, that after school, where did I go? And then after that, what did I do? Which was a few blocks away. At the moment, the writer feels it is not necessary for the readers to focus their attention. Now, this ellipsis is normally used by researchers when they are writing a proposal, research proposal, or writing a report, or where they need to justify the selection of the topic. Now, this justification is possible only when they find out the contribution of the researchers in that particular area. So, understanding the contribution of the researchers and trying to find out which part of the contribution is applicable to the selection of the topic, that is very important, because then they can use the cohesive devices of ellipses appropriately. So this cohesive device actually, in fact, enhances the efficiency of the writer, because the writer has to take the efforts to find out the research contribution, or to read and understand the meaning, and then also find out, what needs to be omitted and what needs to be given attention to. So as I told you, it is a cohesive device of omission, and it enhances the efficiency of the writer. So now let us move on to the second draft. In the second draft, I will try and correct my draft, sentence-wise, and I'll also keep in mind the cohesive devices while correcting the draft. So here I have the first sentence. There is a growing need to keep oneself healthy. This sentence is absolutely perfect. There is no problem with the sentence. We can now move on to the next sentence. We can remain healthy by eating an apple daily and by following a regular diet. Now here I have used and by. And is a conjunction, and the meaning of and is that I'm providing additional information. But in my specific statement, I want to show that we can remain healthy by adding an apple, eating an apple, and or following a regular diet. So therefore, I will use the conjunction or instead of and over here, which is more appropriate. Then I have said that in my thesis statement, studies have shown that. Now, studies have shown that means that I am providing a research evidence. I am providing evidences from researching. Now, whether it is required when I'm providing the thesis statement or writing the thesis statement here is a question that I need to ask myself. So I am trying to come forward with my idea that apple is an essential food, the providing the evidence at this particular time is not necessary. I can provide the evidence later when I'm talking about the different benefits of apple, and then I can talk about provide the evidences. But right now it is not necessary because I'm just writing my thesis statement. So in this manner, you can continue with the rest of the sentence. If each sentence, you read it twice, thrice, and then ask yourself the question whether it is written in an appropriate manner, keeping yourself in the position of the reader and critically evaluating your end product. So in my second draft, what I've done is I have used the reflective strategies to identify the appropriate use of cohesive devices. Now I can move on to the summarizing of the techniques that I have learned. So first I will list the strategies known to me. Then I will identify the purpose of the task. Then I'll select the strategy appropriate for the completion of the task. And then I will ask relevant questions while performing the task. And what do I know about what I'm writing about? What I need to research? What do I want to say about what I have learned? And then I will also ask, is my message coming across? Are my ideas arranged systematically? Have I used the cohesive devices to link my ideas? Is there a need to revise my sentence construction? Have I changed the paragraphs at the appropriate places? Have I used the punctuation correctly? So if we follow these steps, we can become efficient writers. And here I would like to talk about the benefits of metacognition. So we would like to know what are the benefits of metacognition. So metacognition can lead to lifelong learning because once we have acquired the information through our sheer effort and hard work, we will definitely not forget the information throughout our life. But if it is given directly to us by a teacher without an effort, if we have acquired the information, definitely we will forget within a day or two. So lifelong learning, that is very important aspect. Then independent learners. So when we are learning on our own, we could become independent learners. That self-learning or the self-assessment leads us to independent learning. And that is required at the moment, because when we become independent learners, we also start thinking about what we are doing, what we are writing, how we are performing the task. So then it enriches the learning experience, and it is also a higher order learning skill. And we become very efficient at problem solving skills. Then it develops the critical thinking skills. So as I told you, the thinking skills are required. And if we can critically evaluate whatever we have written, that becomes a very important way of, engaging ourselves in the process of, thinking. So having understood the benefits of metacognition, I would like to thank you all for this, for your patient listening. I would also like to remind you that this is my mail ID. You can write to me whenever you have any doubt about metacognitive strategies. You can also call me at this number. This is my WhatsApp number. And then you can also refer to my YouTube channel, where I've incorporated metacognitive strategies, activities related to metacognitive strategies and reflective strategies. And thus you can continue with your questioning, self-questioning techniques. So here I would like to stop sharing. I would like to thank you once again. I will stop sharing right now, and I will definitely answer your questions, whatever questions you have, so that we can go ahead with our task.